it's always easier to make a case for cards that should be on the forbidden list as opposed to cards that should be off the forbidden list. Reason being is that there are cards that are just typically on the list for a really good reason. Cards like Harpy's Feather Duster and Yatagarasu were just too problematic for its time. But that doesn't mean that every card on the list is still going to be a headache due to how much the game has evolved. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 awesome cards that were once busted, but now can come off the forbidden list in some capacity. I want to know, what are you guys' top 5 cards that should come off in the forbidden list as well? Post them down below in the comment section. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, you can hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Without further ado, I present to you the top 5 cards that should come off the forbidden list. Alright guys, so coming in hot at number 5 is one of the best cards in the atmosphere. Or should I just say stratosphere? A card that probably drives a Stratus. Get it? No? Well, number 5 on this list is Elemental Hero Stratos, and this is a card that is well past its prime. In the Master Rule 3 format before Links, this card was a part of a 1-card FTK. And even inside of Master Rule 4 with Links, this card proved its worth, fueling even more disastrous combos. But now that the true problematic cards have been limited and Master Rule 4 is in full effect, Stratos just isn't as good as it used to be. I mean, it's just a really good support to its hero counterparts. I think that this card limited to 1 would be fine, and then seeing how much of an impact that it does to the meta, I think a semi-limit or even a completely under the limit is not out of the question. Stratos is a very strong card, but definitely not the card that he used to be. I think that he'll be able to come off the list with almost no bad implications and be able to make heroes a more viable deck. Number 4 on this list, if you guys are as old as me and you grew up on Drake being the hottest rapper in high school, Drake said one of the hottest lines for his boys in Canada. He said, "I carried a weight for my city like a cargo ship." And everybody was like, dang, because nobody in Canada was hot unless you listen to Justin Bieber. And this card is very similar for this archetype as Drake is for Canada. And it just happened to have Carrier in its name, so I'm punny as hell. Number 4 on this list is Windup Carriers Zenmaity. And this card was limited due to its ability to hand loop with Windup Hunter, and then banned because Windups proved to still be one of the best decks that could swarm the field with a ton of Exceed monsters. I think with the release of Windup Maintenance Zenmaicon, the deck could get back a bit of its explosiveness that it had once before and still be a viable deck that it hasn't been in recent years. I think that this is very good for the Yu-Gi-Oh game with Zenmaity at 1. Basically, the verdict, I have to say that limited to 1 would be the best option with Windup Hunter still being around. I could still see some hand loops going around if it were at more than 1, but a possible errata or ban to Windup Hunter could make this card just completely expendable to the forbidden list. Number 3 on this list just bugs me on how long it has been on the forbidden list. Insector Dragonfly was partly a product of bad card design. When you pair this card with Insector Hornet, the deadly combo would break just about any board in time due to the ability to keep on summoning monsters to attach Hornet to. Now things are a little bit different in Yu-Gi-Oh! As boards are not only harder to break, but Insector Hornet is still at 1 himself. Also, with the induction of Insector Picofalena, I could see Insectors needing a slight boost to make them somewhat viable. I'm going to have to say that Insector Dragonfly can completely come off the list, but I'd have to keep a very close eye on the interaction with this card. Hornet is still limited, but it's not terribly hard to search. It would be fun to see Insectors become nothing less of a decent tier 2 deck, and I think that Insector Dragonfly could propel the Insector strategy back into that status. Number 2 on this list, if you left this card unchecked, it will be Dragoons. It's nutsack all over the board. That's right, Atlantean Dragoons is a card that was once revered of being able to search devastating monsters like the perfect Mermail Megalo Abyss, which was a daily game ender at its time, and then Atlantean Neptibus, the OTK powerhouse monster. But now, I somewhat pity Atlantean Dragoons. Not only does it have a limited pool of sea servants you can search, on top of that, it's restricted to a deck that hasn't made a good mark in some recent time. Let's not forget that Dragoons can only be activated under the effects of Mermail Megalo Abyss, Abyssteus, and Neptibus. All of them which have their own innate flaws at first glance. I mean, this card seems really good, but then you look at the impact Mermails have done in the past pretty long time, and it's not enough to say that Dragoons can't come to 3. I think that Dragoons won't be problematic for the meta, but I also think it'll give a deck a boost that it needs to be one of the more competitive decks, if not just a little more viable, or even worse, saving ink on the forbidden list. Before we talk about that #1 card that should be off the forbidden list, let's talk about some really good honorable mentions. Now, one of the cards on this honorable mention actually should have been #1, but I decided against it because it was a little too cliche and I feel that you guys might know me a little too much. So there are plenty of cards that are no longer prohibitive to the forbidden list, and these cards are Compulsory Evacuation Device, Book of Moon, Ritual Beast, Ultiganog, Miscellaneousaurus, and of course, my ex-wife El Shaddai Construct. Yes, that's not #1. I know, right? Crazy. Let's not forget about the cards like Cleefort Scout. But of course, there are more, so post down below the honorable mentions in the comment section, cards that you guys think should be off the forbidden list and should be at least honorable mention outside of your top 5. #1 on this list will complete the rise of a deck, and let's face it, ever since this card has been taken away, this deck has been getting off support and even in support, cards that are really fitting the archetype that have been trying to compare itself to this card, but it hasn't really panned out. It was a mandatory piece that once taken away, the deck became nothing. And though its price has steadily been going up, it's just in anticipation of this bad boy ever making it off the list. If this card does come off the list, the deck can be a viable option in a positive way for ritual monsters. I mean, I did just give it away, but sure, it is possible for the game to change when it comes off the list. Get it? Sure it? Sure it, Strategist of the Necros is one powerful card. Let's face it, it's a necessary counterbalance to the strategy that can take advantage of extra deck heavy strategies. It would be really nice to put an older concept to use, and the best part of this is that it's not overbearing, and with Necros in the competitive scene, just about every summoning mechanic will be used. Sure, it was once powerful because Necros were just too much, but now with the new ritual support, Necros are a very solid deck into the format. I don't think they'll be overbearing. I think they'll just be a really good spot, a very good niche role, and a niche counter to certain decks. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Again, I want to see you guys' top 5 decks down below in the description. Also, if you guys want to say what type of top 5 video we should do next, go ahead and post it down below in the comment section as well. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.